Photography and videography has been around for years, but I'm gonna tell you why right now is the best time ever to have this as a profession. Stay tuned.
FlashFilm Media, inspired by passion, driven by results. FlashFilm Media presents Business Tip of the Week.
What's going on, guys? My name is Ty Turner, former Army combat photographer and creative director here at FlashFilm Media, and we're going to talk business. Why? Because I can't find any legitimate, useful, valuable business information for what we do. I can find tons of tutorials on how to use Lightroom, how to use Adobe, how to use different cameras, but there's very little to talk business. So we're going to talk business. Why? Because when you own a business that's dealing in photography or videography, business is 75% of what you do. Trust me when I say that. Right now is the greatest time to have this profession. Why? Because every single business needs video. Every single business needs photo. In fact, if you are a photographer or a videographer, scratch that. You're now a content creator. You're not just a photographer. You're not just a videographer. You are a content creator that may specialize in a specific type of content, whether that be photo or video or graphics. You are a content creator. Every single business needs what you have to offer. Think about it like this. Think about it. If I had a plumbing company, right? And you've seen many plumbing companies that are worth millions. Everybody doesn't have a plumbing problem, but every single company, every gas station, every church, every store needs a video. Not only that, the average person who has a phone, an iPad, 6 TVs in their home, they need content. I often joke with my friends and say content is the new crack because it's the new drug. Let's just be real. Everybody holding a phone, a tablet, everybody sitting in front of a TV screen. Those are crack pipes. And you can create the drug they need to keep them glued to that crack pipe. Go look down the street. You see people glued to their phone. It's true. People are glued to social media. Well, all of those devices need content, needs new content daily. People understand it. Companies understand it. Businesses understand it. They need content to be relevant, and you need content to drive advertising. So if you are in the business of photography or videography, you have a chance to create that content. So let's go back a few steps. So we're starting to see cable companies transition over to online-based TV. Look at YouTube Live, which is one of the newer live streaming services. And you have to understand at some point when you're watching, let's say, the first 48 on YouTube Live, when that show is over with, they're going to show you related videos on YouTube about that show. So just think of where things are going in the future and think of what you have to offer the future. It used to be a time where people would, you're a photographer. That's funny. Go take pictures in the club. You're a videographer. What are you shooting videos for? The news? What are you making movies? It was just news and movies. It was nothing in between. Now there's a whole lot in between. And you can have a successful 6-figure career simply by shooting testimonials, simply by shooting training videos. But what you have to understand is the business side of this industry. You got to understand it. So I'm going to give you a few books to get you in the right direction, right? So there's a few books that I read because you have to educate yourself. You have to understand where things are going, and you have to understand business more than you understand photography or videography. Business, it needs to be your new hobby. Business needs to be your new hobby. Photo and video needs to be your side chick. It needs to be your minor. Your major needs to be business. Your minor needs to be multimedia. Now, I'm not saying don't be good at it, but be even better at business, right? Let me give you an example. It's something that I use when I talk to a lot of people, right? Who makes a burger worse than McDonald's? Think about it. Who makes a burger that's worse than McDonald's burger? Now think about this. Who sells more burgers than McDonald's? Nobody. You know plenty of mom and pop burger spots near your home that make a really good burger that can't compete with McDonald's. Why though? Because McDonald's understands business is more important than the product sometimes. Think about it like this. It solves every issue you have or every hurdle you have preventing you from buying a burger, they've overcome. Is it cheap? It's very cheap. Is it readily available? It's readily available everywhere. Is it consistent from store to store? It's consistent from store to store. You have no other objective. They're starting to deliver them now. So you have no other objectives preventing you from buying a burger. It's only $1. So that is more, those few things I listed is more important than the way the burger tastes, than the health benefits of the burger, than where the burger come from. And nobody will say that. Nobody will come forward and say, you know, I'd rather have $1 burger than a healthy burger, but numbers don't lie. Who sells more burgers than McDonald's? Think about it. So that's an example of how you need to look at your business and find a niche market and understand that, you know, the product that I offer is going to change compared to what it used to be. It used to be portraits, prints, 6 hours here, wedding. You have to look at the industry and find new ways to offer this product. Another great example of that is Uber. Uber is just a cab service that found a new way to offer it. How can I get an unlimited amount of cabs? How can I get people involved with making money? How can I get, you know, how can I avoid taking on the cost of cars and, you know, an operator and a physical business? You know, Uber sits back in one location pretty much. I mean, they have locations everywhere that they try to help with, but you understand what I'm saying? They don't have a parking garage in each city with a fleet of 100 cars that's insured and background checks on drivers and, you know, who work for the company and insurance. They found a way to offer the same service, if not better, differently. And now the company's worth billions. The point I want to make is business is very important. It's very important to go along with what you have behind the camera. If you want to make a career out of this, and you have to be prepared to grow on the business side of things. Let me make sure I state this. If you click on the links below, we will get a kickback to help support the channel. These are books that I bought with my own money and I read long before I'm presenting them to you guys. And they really helped us grow the business. Because mentally you go in a situation thinking, oh, I know business is easy. You know, charge somebody this, make this, charge somebody this, make that. But it's a little more difficult than you think. It's kind of like an apple pie. You can bite into an apple pie. You can tell someone it tastes good. But can you reproduce it just by tasting it? You can't. It's difficult. You don't know how many ounces of sugar, you know, you just don't know what to do to reproduce it. You have to learn it. Regardless of how many apple pies I let you eat, you still cannot determine by tasting what degree the oven was on when it cooked the apple pie. You just don't know. And as long as you understand that, you can learn the right way to do it. So I'm going to give you 2 books. So the first book is called The $100 Startup. I'm going to put a picture of it right here so you can see it. And I'm going to put a link in the description. So why is that book important? That book is important because it educates you on the fact that you can start a business that doesn't have to be a $1 billion company. It can be a $200,000 a year company that allows you to work 15 hours a week and spend the rest with your family. It can be a $70,000 a year company that allow you to travel and be with your family. It doesn't have to be a huge $1 million mega 1,000 employee business. It can be a 3 employee business that give you the freedom to do what you want to do and make consistent money. That's why that book is important. And that book talks about stories of people who lucked up on what their business was. They lucked up on, you know, what direction they decided to do. Where a lot of you guys are watching this and your passion is in photo and video. This book will help people decide what their passion is if they haven't already figured it out. But it'll help you understand pricing, how to launch, what to do. And we live in an age where it's not like it was 20 years ago. You don't need $20 million to start a business because you don't need an accountant. You can go get QuickBooks. You don't need this. You don't need a store. You can get a website. So things are a lot cheaper. This book talks about that. This book talks about how to build an audience, how to grow, how to launch. That's why this book is very important. This book is first for a reason. It opens your eyes into the world of business, and it shows you that, there's ways to monetize your passions. And this book talks about how to monetize your passions. Our second book is called End of Jobs. This is probably one of my favorite books of all time. Why? Because this book will wake you up in a world filled with technology and give you direction on where things are going. This book talks about the value of being an entrepreneur. This book is great because really simple things. It talks about how industries such as cabs, like I spoke earlier, industries that don't change over a long period of time face sudden change. So for instance, the cab industry has not changed since cars. It has not changed since horse and carriage. You make a phone call, you speak to an operator, they call somebody close to come by and get you, blah, blah, blah. And overnight, boom, this thing called Uber, Lyft comes out of nowhere and the industry is done, damn near done. It talks about trends and certain things in certain industries that you need to pay attention to that right now you don't see. I didn't see them. And this book opened my eyes to the future and how things will be done in the future. So this book educates you on how to use the technology that you have around you to run your business. You don't need to go out and get a lot of stuff you may think you need to run a business. You have access to all the tools you need. 30 years ago, if I wanted to get something manufactured in China, I would have to go to China, meet with a vendor, find a factory, get it designed, where now I can do it all from my computer, probably from my phone now. I can meet a vendor in China and go to certain websites and present them with a design, a CAD design, and have them design it and send it to me, and I never have to leave my hometown. Those are the type of things you really need to learn about before you start a business. And you say, well, if I'm doing photo and video, why? You ever thought about outsourcing editing? You ever thought about getting in so much business that you had to outsource stuff? It happens. There's a lot of companies that you can outsource things to, where really, if you wanted to, you can sit back and go after business and outsource everything and still make six figures. It's not as hard as you think, but these two books will keep you on track. And what I'll do is I read a lot of books. You have to read a lot of books. In fact, I listen to audio versions because when I'm driving, I don't listen to music. I cut out music. I love music to death, but to get where I'm trying to go, I don't listen to music. I listen to audiobooks. So every time I'm in the car, I'm listening to an audiobook. Every time I'm on my way to a client, I'm listening to an audiobook. And it's kind of like a diet, right? To get where you want to go with the diet, you got to cut out the bad stuff. Music is great. It does things for your mood. It don't make you smarter. It don't add commas to your income. It don't help you grow your brand or business. So I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I want to say I go through about 3 to 4 a month. So Audible is big for me. It's something that I'm sharing with you guys. And like I said, if you sign up with the link below, you get 2 audiobooks for free. And I'm going to try to bring you guys new books every week that I've read or currently reading, because I love to hear people, I love to hear feedback of people saying, yeah, I read the book. I love it. This, that, and the other. Kind of book club-ish. But for those who are trying to make a career in photography and videography or content creating, it's a really, really, really good thing to do. You got to keep educating yourself. You got to keep watching tutorials. You got to keep watching stuff to get better. This industry is tricky because there is no bar for an industry. There is not like a doctor. You can go to Best Buy, you can buy a camera, you can call yourself a photographer, whereas a doctor can't do that. So how do you distinguish yourself from everybody that's doing that. And the only thing to do it is by understanding business, branding yourself, marketing yourself, and having the quality of work to set yourself apart from everybody else who are taking pictures of people on train tracks. There's ways to do it. The market is not saturated. Don't ever say that. The market is not saturated. You just haven't done enough to separate yourself from those who are at the bottom. And that's fine. We were there before. We were definitely there before. And the more you understand business, you will understand that concept, and you'll be able to get away from the saturated area of portraits, baby shots. And there's some people that are excellent at it. I'm not taking it away from them. There's certain people who specialize in that. They can charge a rate that allow them to grow, and they own a majority of the market share. So there's nothing wrong with that. You either be the best at it or you get out of it. So we'll talk about that in the future. I'm going to post all the links below. Listen, guys, leave me some comments. If you've read those books, if you're reading them books, if you're on chapter 3 and he says something that blow your mind, let's talk about it. I love to hear from you guys. You have no idea how much that means to me to wake up or get up and have comments from you guys. So I would love to hear what you guys think. I would love to hear your feedback. And I'm going to ask you to do what I ask you to do every week. Like, share, subscribe. Hey, pay attention to our Instagram page. We post stuff on there daily. Pay attention to that. All right, guys. See you next week.
For more daily updates, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter